You're lying in bed. It's 11 p.m. You're scrolling through TikTok as usual. You haven't touched your routine or your schedule in like 10 days. You've watched all the self-improvement creators you can, and nobody seems to motivate you to get out of the slum you're in. And you're so upset. You keep beating yourself up. You are tired of being like this. Because a few weeks ago, you were the most productive you've ever been. In fact, you were consistent for about 6 months to a year. And now you are like so freaking tired. It's like nothing can get you out of bed anymore. You're so done with this entire productivity and self-improvement thing. Every time you tell yourself you are done though, you begin to feel guilty because you want to actually do better, but you don't know why. Self-improvement and productivity just doesn't seem to give you that feeling that it used to give you anymore. You just don't seem pumped anymore to improve your life and to make yourself better. It's just not fun anymore. And you are done. You are tired. Like, you want to do better for yourself, but you can't. And you're literally done. You've given up. Like, freak this shit, I'm done with it. Yeah, I've been there, and so has many others before you. And I'm talking about people who actually got out of it and didn't let it hold them back. This stage, I like to call it the stale stage, is when productivity and self-improvement isn't as fun as it used to be. It's now part of you and it's no longer fun. There's no dopamine rush when you do the things you're supposed to do anymore. Everything just feels dry. It feels like, oh my god, I'm tired. Like, there's nothing fun in this anymore. I don't feel that sense of reward I used to feel. And I'm tired of people on the internet telling me that I should reward myself with cookies. No freaking cookie is going to let me be motivated. Yeah, that's what you're saying. I know. I've been there, and I call it the stale stage. And let me tell you something. Once you're at this stage, you're about to level up. You're literally already at the door to success. You're just about to level up. So make sure you don't give up and you keep pushing, because this is exactly where things become better. Hi, my name is Blossom, and I'm here to make sure that you never settle for a life that's less than the one you deserve. Everything I just spoke about, and you are now in the stale stage. Today I'm going to explain it to you, why it happens, how it feels like. I'm literally going to give you all the tea, but I'm not going to stop there. I'm also going to tell you how to break past it, and I'm also going to give you the good news, and I'm going to give you the realistic news, because we don't lie here. Now, what is the stale stage? I already did a good job at explaining it earlier in this video. The stale stage is when everything literally feels stale. Nothing feels fun anymore. Productivity doesn't feel fun anymore. Waking up, working out, doing your morning routine, being productive, going and chasing after your goals doesn't feel fun anymore. In fact, you are so freaking tired of it. You don't care anymore. You don't care. You just want to literally lay in bed all day. You are done with the whole productivity and self-improvement thing. But low-key, you are still not done, because you keep beating yourself up for not being more productive. Let me tell you something, and yes, I'm trying to make you feel better about yourself, but I'm also being realistic. So many of us go through it. A lot of us go through it. Everybody goes through it. Everybody who has goals and who wants to become something in this life is going to go through the stale stage. It's literally inevitable. You kind of have to go through it for you to be able to get to the level that you want. I like to see it as a test from God to see if you are worthy of what you are pursuing. So it happens. And there's a scientific reason for it too, which I'm going to explain as we go on. But spiritually, I personally think that God does it to test us, to see if we're worthy of the goals that we're chasing after. So it happens to everybody, and you are not alone. It's not new. There's not a problem with you. There's nothing wrong with you. It happens to everybody. So chapter 2, why does this happen? Why does the stale stage happen? Okay. 1, your brain is tired. Because you keep treating yourself like a robot. You keep doing the same routine. You keep doing the same things every single day repetitively like a robot. And now your brain is tired. Nothing is fun anymore. You're just doing the same things every day. You wake up, you go for a walk, you come back, you start working immediately at this certain time. Whilst having a routine is great, there should be variety to your routine, because you're a human being and not a robot. Your routine shouldn't be like a It shouldn't be a one-way thing. You should have various routines to spice it up. And I personally learned that through experience recently. I had to learn it the tough way through experience. I had had the same routine for so long and had been so productive until I burnt out. And then I realized that I was doing the same things every day. And it wasn't great for me. It wasn't what I wanted, what my body wanted for me. My body wanted me to treat myself with more kindness and for there to be some kind of variability in the routine. Things were not supposed to stay the same all the time. And so you know what I did? I completely changed my routine. I made it into something that's more laid back, more fun, and while still showing up and while still being productive. And guess what? That changed the game for me. And now I'm actually more interested in my tasks and I don't feel like I'm literally struggling to get one thing done like I've been feeling the past few days. And I've now learned the hard lesson of redoing my routine over and over again because it's not supposed to stay the same because I'm not a robot. So if this is what you do, now you know why you're stuck in the still stage. Second thing is that you stopped seeing progress. Studies actually show that dopamine drops when you stop experiencing wins, as in the chemical in your brain that's like always excited when you win something and when you do good and like when you do something new and there's progress. It drops when you are not experiencing any wins. And then, the feel-good hormones that made you feel so motivated and so pumped is now dropping because there's nothing exciting anymore. There's no progress. You're not doing something new that there should be progress for, that you should be applauded for. Everything is like just stagnant. You're literally in the same spot every day. And whilst I know that this is normal in life, there can be progress every day, right? But still, if a certain thing in your life, there's no progress there, introduce something where you can see progress and your brain can feel like you are winning in some way every day. The third one is that you are mentally exhausted. You've been grinding for weeks now without a break and now you've burnt out. You're literally mentally exhausted, but you still keep trying to push yourself instead of resting, listening to your body, doing some self-care, relaxing for about 1 to 2 days and actually listening to yourself and making your tasks lighter. Maybe what you used to do for 1 hour, you do it for 10 minutes now for just these 2 to 3 days, just so you can relax and get back to you. But no, you keep pushing, you keep trying to see how far you can go till you drop dead. No, actually, that's wrong. You shouldn't treat your body that way. So once you begin to feel mentally exhausted, the reasonable and the right thing to do is to focus on your rest, focus on self-care, and just nurture yourself back until you are back in that space. And also change your routine. Don't make it the same one it was before you burnt out. So now that you know why it all happens, how do we fix it? And that's what we'll talk about in chapter 3. Chapter 3, how do we fix this? Because good news, it doesn't mean that you are stuck there forever and there is no way you're going to move forward and that there's no progress. There is. You just simply need to make some adjustments, and let's talk about it. So first of all, shake up your routine. What do I mean by this? If, for example, your productivity, you've begun to see some slack in your productivity. You shake up your routine by probably changing your workspace. Maybe you work somewhere else. I did that recently. I used to work on my bed and then I moved to my table. So now I look outside of the window when I'm working and it really helped. Or maybe you change the time you do things. Perhaps you used to work in the morning, maybe you can move to the evening. That change could also help. If it's like maybe your workout, instead of setting goals of like I want to go to the gym 5 times a week forever, like what's the fun in that? You could change it to I want to increase my weight by like 1 kg this week and actually work towards that. So now there's something new you're working towards. That leads me to number 2, which is set new micro goals. Leads back to what I just said. Literally set different goals. Don't set the same goals like the example I just gave. Change your goals. Make tiny ones, in a week that you can actually achieve in a week so that your brain can actually see that you are making some wins and you become more excited and dopamine is produced like it used to be in the beginning of your productivity and self-improvement journey. The third tip is to romanticize your journey. If things are beginning to feel boring, things are beginning to feel plain, it's time for you to romanticize your journey. So what does that mean? It literally means that you could buy like a cute new journal and to be tracking your progress. Like you see that journal and it's so cute, you're so excited to write in it. Or like you could reward yourself after you have a week of productivity, like buy yourself a cute cake or like a nice dress or something you've been eyeing. Create a new playlist for when you're working that would make you feel in the moment. I started doing that again. I started listening to music again when I work, and I found that it really changed the game for me. And I used to do that before, but I stopped. But now I'm back to it, and it feels new again, and things feel romanticized. My fifth tip is to take a long break. Literally take a long break. A long break. And what I mean by a long break isn't like 2 years or something. I just mean normal, longer than you normally would. You could take like an entire weekend off where you would do no task. You will literally just sleep in bed all day. And that could help to reset your productivity. Fifth tip is to remind yourself why you started. Go back to the version of you who wanted this so badly. Remind yourself why she wanted this so badly. That's why I do something where I keep motivational videos in my folders and in my phone, in my folders, where I go back to them and I watch them again to remind myself of the feeling I felt when I first watched it and why I'm on this journey. You could record a video of yourself when you started this journey, and one of the best ways is also creating a vision board. Your vision board would also remind you of why you started this journey whenever you feel demotivated or you feel unmotivated. Your vision board will also remind you. And you could also like talk to a trusted family member or a friend. Just ask them to remind you why you started on this journey. This would require you having to talk to them beforehand, like, okay, this is what I'm going for. Whenever I feel unmotivated, I would like to speak to you to help me, to make me feel better, on days when I forget why I started. So now let's go to chapter 4.
So now chapter 4, how do you incorporate all of these tips I'm giving you into becoming the highest version of yourself? Okay, let's get started. Number 1, build a sustainable system. You literally have to build a system that is balanced for work and for rest, and is sustainable over a long period of time. So even if you have to switch it up, you just switch up a few things, move some things around like I mentioned earlier, but build a sustainable system. Don't have a system that's too intense. I made this mistake. Have a system that is actually sustainable and is reasonable and is something that you can keep going for a long period of time. Number 2, always be learning. Watch new videos, follow inspirational people, read books. I always mention this in all of my videos at this point, but that's because it's very important. Always make sure you're learning. The highest version of yourself never stops learning. Step 3 is to create a reset ritual. Have a go-to reset that you can do every week to help yourself go back on track whenever you feel off track. I like to do this on Sundays. I call my Sundays reset Sundays, where I do no work, and even if I do any kind of work, it will be minimal and probably very compulsory, maybe something that I have to do every day. And I would make sure that I focus on self-care that day, meaning I watch vlogs or like of people that I enjoy watching, and do self-care, do some skincare, take my favorite juice that day. I love to do that. So that's something you could incorporate for whenever things feel off, or you could make it a routine like I do and make a particular day in your week your reset day. Number 4, celebrate small wins. Make sure you celebrate all your small wins in any way you can. Like, make sure you reward yourself for showing up for yourself every day, because you would reward a friend if they showed up for you every day. You would be so appreciative of them. You would thank them. You would hug them. You would be so grateful to them. Do the same thing for yourself whenever you show up for yourself every day, because you also deserve love. And then my last tip is to never let a bad day turn into a bad week. Because you had a bad day doesn't mean you should now make a bad week. So because you couldn't show up on Monday, then you won't show up on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That seems counterintuitive. Like, why would you do that? That doesn't even make any sense. And I love this analogy. I think I once saw on TikTok where she spoke about how, imagine if you poured like a little coffee on your shirt, your white shirt, and like it's staining and you're like upset. Would you pour the entire coffee on the shirt and say, well, it's ruined anyways? I mean, it's ruined, so let me just go about my day. Let me just, pour the entire thing and let the entire thing get dirty. Of course not. You find a way to clean up that stain and move on with the rest of the day. Probably you will even finish that coffee. So why would you do that in your productivity journey? Why would a bad day mean you don't need to show up for the rest of the week? That's just one spot of coffee. Don't pour the entire coffee on your shirt just because you had a bad day. Remember that self-improvement is not a straight line. It's never the same every day. Some days will feel off, some days won't. What matters is showing up regardless. And while discipline matters, it's also important that you also know when you need a break and when you need to give yourself time to reset and to take care of yourself. That's what self-love is all about. It's all about being disciplined but also loving yourself and knowing when it's time for self-care and when it's time for a break. So what makes the decision between successful and unsuccessful people or societally deemed unsuccessful people is showing up even on the days you don't want to show up. You literally don't want to film content today. You don't care. You stand up and you film content because that's the designated day for filming content. Now there's a balance to that, of course. If you are burnt out, maybe you should rest and come another day and do it. But don't completely neglect your needs. So that's literally it. That's just how to deal with the stale stage. And if you've watched this far, I'm so proud of you. And I hope that you can get the strength to continue into your productivity journey. If you enjoyed this video, comment in the comment section what you're going to do to lift yourself out of this stale stage, out of this lack of productivity stage, and how you're going to keep pushing next week. Maybe you need a break, maybe you need to reset. Just comment it in the comment section. And if you like this video, please like, share to your friends, and subscribe to my channel. Turn on post notification, that little bell icon, so you will always remember when I drop a new video. Follow me on all my social media platforms for short form videos on my LinkedIn, on my TikTok, on my Twitter or X, and on my Instagram. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.